answer any questions you may have. She also has that discount link for those of you that want to join the next cohort of COIN, the Certified Options Investing Network. You get lifetime access once you join, and we just finished the 12th week yesterday, and you guys can join us and hang out, and I will teach you all about stock options and break it all down for you. And we will go through every single stock option strategy you can think of. And in fact, last night we played what was it? We called it Black Options. What was it? I can't remember what the T stood for, but it was like a game show, right? And we were asking questions and everybody had fun, so it was kind of a blast. So we're gonna probably do that again. But anyway, if you also are following the stock market, you'll notice that stocks like Affirm have been doing really well. Affirm just kind of went crazy, and so congrats to those of you that are invested in that stock. I know that that stock is one of the ones that we've talked about, and it's a great income earner, and I've owned it for a few years. So yesterday was a good day for that. All right. So as we start, what I want to do is go on a digital field trip really quickly and just head over to Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance. And there are some things that I shared on Instagram that I wanted to kind of drill into a little more deeply in terms of economic conversations that can help us to make better choices and put ourselves in a better situation long term. Also, I want to remind you that about the 5 year pledge. And the 5 year pledge is that for 5 years, you're going to pledge to invest for yourself and put your family at the top of your priority list. So that means pick a bill, any bill that's $500 or more. If you can't do five, then do three or four, and match that bill and just say, whatever I spend on my car note, I'm going to put into my portfolio. If you do that consistently, then you will find that after 5 years, you'll have tens of thousands of dollars in wealth, and that's going to make a big difference in your generational wealth. That's going to really put you in a spot of financial security. So these little simple rules are the things that if all of us do these things, then we're literally adding billions of dollars to the black economy, right? So we're not just talking about it; we're going to be about it, and be the best that we can absolutely positively be. All right, now with that said, let me pull up my Instagram so we can take a look at some of these things. There's some really interesting stuff kind of happening that I thought would make really interesting financial lessons that we can apply and learn from. And so let me share my screen here so we can do this the right way. All right, let's see. Is this here we go. All right, give me a second here. All right. Okay. All right. So here is my Instagram. There's a lot of stuff up here, a lot of economic stuff. And actually, oh, let me share my audio so you guys can hear the audio because I'm gonna play a video that I thought was really interesting. All right, so here, this first one was interesting to me because this is a young lady who is really upset because she didn't know what being an adult was like. She didn't, adulting was something that she wasn't prepared for. And I'll play this video. So here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. Give me a yes if you can hear it. Here we go.
Bro, how come nobody never told me that being an adult is hard? Bro, my phone bill was $300. And on top of that, I had to pay to get my own hair done. Bro, this is hard. I can't do it anymore, bro. I don't want to be an adult. I want to go back to being a kid, bro. I have to still find another job after losing my job at Popeyes. And I still got a phone bill to pay. I can't do this.
Okay, I didn't mean to start your day off with something sad. I kind of I felt really bad for that poor girl. You know, so I won't even mention the fact that I'm trying to figure out when women started calling each other bro. I that we didn't do that in the 90s, but hey, it's not 1998 anymore. But with that said, she seemed to be struggling with something that you've seen Dr. Alicia write about called financial anxiety, and the financial anxiety is related to depression and things like that. So Give me a yes. Would you agree that she could possibly be depressed? Let me know if you agree that she appears depressed, that she appears to be anxious, she appears to be sad. Let me know, do you think that she could be diagnosed for some mental health problem? Right? And I'm asking this very obvious question for a reason, right? This really goes back to when I was explaining to you the direct linkage between mental health and financial health. That if one is off balance, the other one will be off balance. If your financial health is off balance, your mental health will be off balance. If your mental health is off balance, then your financial health will be off balance. So each of them will imbalance the other. Each of them will ruin and destroy the other, right? For example, I heard this rapper named Kid Cudi. He was really prominent in the Diddy trial, and Kid Cudi just gave an amazing interview that I was so proud of him for. I really liked this guy. It was really interesting. First off, it was really funny when he described his relationship with Kanye West and how difficult it was to deal with him and all that. I said, God, that's so interesting. That was my experience with Kanye. Kanye's hard to talk to. But then the other part of it that was interesting was when he was doing an interview with a young person. And I was so proud of him and so impressed with him because he was literally warning young people like, do not try these drugs. Like basically telling them, that the culture tells you these things are cool, coke and meth and molly and all this other stuff. He said, do not do that. He said that will destroy your mental health. It'll put you in a dark place. A lot of people that might be diagnosed for mental health disorders, many of them, not in every case, but a lot of them were drug addicts. And I don't know why a lot of people don't talk about this, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not pretending to be one, but when you disrupt the chemistry of your brain, it's really hard to re-achieve that balance. So you might have a period from age 18 to 23 where you're a drug addict, but then when you're 43, long after you've stopped using the drugs, you find that your mind isn't quite right because you disrupted your dopamine levels and things like that. Like that's what these drugs do. They take like dopamine gives you natural happiness, and the drugs just take that natural happiness and multiply it by 1,000. So you're elated for a little while, and then you're depressed right afterward, right? And you never get that back. Once they've kind of disrupted the machinery inside your head, it's not like it's going to naturally just fix itself back to what it was before. Does that make sense, right? So with that being said, I loved the interview. I thought it was really powerful and valuable, and I said, gosh, this is what older black men are supposed to do, not encourage them to make the same mistakes, but also remember this connects to your economics. So let's circle back to this young lady. I'm gonna play the video one more time so we can. Not that we're basking in her agony. I want to stop the agony, right? I don't want your child to go through this. Give me a yes if you agree. Give me a yes if you're willing to do things now to make sure your child or your grandchild isn't making videos like this. Let me know if you agree. Like again, we don't just talk about it. We're gonna be about it. Right? Ain't no point in me talking to you about something if you're not gonna use it. Do you understand? So let me know if we all agree. Can we agree that we're not gonna torture our kids by not preparing them for the future? Because I'm gonna tell you exactly why she's sad, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly how this can be fixed, how this can be prevented, and it really comes through back to this basic idea called preparation. So here we go. Let's lay it out here again.
Bro, how come nobody never told me that being an adult is hard? Bro, my phone bill was $300. And on top of that, I had to pay to get my own hair done. Bro, this is hard. I can't do it anymore, bro. I don't want to be an adult. I want to go back to being a kid, bro. I have to still find another job after losing my job at Popeyes. And I still got a phone bill to pay. I can't do this.
Okay, so let's talk about. I know I see some of y'all on there laughing. It ain't funny. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. That poor baby, she's struggling. All right. So let's break this down. Like a lot of times, I think as black people, the temptation, at least according to the culture, is to just be spectators in other people's misery. Right? We love to see people act out and be crazy, and we'll sit and hold our cell phones and we'll watch some dude beating up on a black woman and a bunch of men will be standing around filming it. Or we get on the internet and we'll see somebody make a video about how horrible their life is, and we'll just enjoy the video. Or we'll hear about a celebrity dying from a drug overdose and we say, oh, that's really sad, and we'll send prayers up. But nobody says maybe we need to reconsider our relationship with drugs. Maybe we need to learn from this as opposed to just watching it happen, right? So let's analyze that video. I'm going to be hyper analytical for a minute. I hope that that's okay. Let me know if it's all right for me to be a little bit of a, I'm a nerd out for a minute because there's so much there in that video to unpack. Let me know if that's okay. Let me know if you can go with me. I want to make sure, I want to get us in the right mindset to be deep. Okay, let me know. Give me a yes in the chat. Here we go. First thing. First thing. She literally is talking about her parents in the very first sentence. She's talking about the adults in her life. She said, "How come nobody never told me that being an adult was hard? How come y'all didn't tell me?" She's saying, "Look, um, I'm 18." She looked like she's about 18 years old. And how many of you knew that there's 8,760 hours in a year? Did anybody know that? There's 8,760 hours in a year. 8,760 hours times 18 is 157,680 hours. So when your child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind, God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too because only God knows what you'll go through, right? When that child is born, from the time the child is born to the time the child is 18, you have 157,680 hours to prepare them for life. So when she says, "How come nobody never told me?" What she's asking a very deep question, in my opinion. She's saying, "Why the hell didn't y'all warn me about this?" A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. She doesn't know how predatory capitalism is when you are not economically prepared. She's blind to the ways of mankind. She doesn't know how stressful it is to have more bills than you have income. She doesn't know. Uh, what only God knows what you'll go through. And your parents know too, because your parents done been through it. So I'm sitting here looking at this and saying, who was responsible for getting you ready for the world? Who threw you out in the middle of a football game with no pads, no helmet, no strategy, no skill, no training? Who would do that to you? Who hates you that much that they had 157,680 hours to prepare you and didn't use any of that time to get you ready for life? I mean, really, if you look at, I mean, think about this, right? There's 157,680 hours between age 0 and age 18. It only, it would, I could probably talk to that girl for 3 hours and teach her more about life than she learned over that whole 18-year period. I wouldn't even need 157,680 hours. Just give me like five. Give me 10. Give me like 30 or 40 of those hours. Oh, she's ready. She's killing it. She's killing it. So that's the first thing I want you to really think about. Remember, I told you that when it comes to Black economics, you're not just wasting money. The bigger thing you're wasting is time. The bigger thing you're wasting is time. Because we talked about the 5-year pledge. If somebody just simply loved her as much as they loved the car dealer, because I'm sure her mama was driving a car and paying bills to some white man. If somebody loved her enough and loved her, and I'm not saying her mama didn't love her. I'm not trying to be mean, because I'm sure she loved her in the best way she knew how. So what I'm encouraging us to consider is to learn how to love each other better. Just because I love you don't mean I know how to love you. Do you understand? Right? Just because I love you, like if I'm a man and I say, "I love you, I bought you a mansion," that's my way of loving you. And you say, "Look, I didn't want you to buy me a mansion. I want you to buy me flowers. I didn't want you to get," and I say, "Well, no, I love you. I bought you a Mercedes." And you say, "No, I didn't want you to buy me a Mercedes. I just want you to give me your time." Right? So it's not just about loving somebody. It's really about knowing how to love them in the way that is beneficial to them. So she might have got a lot of, physical love and emotional love and other things, but she certainly didn't get any financial love. She was deprived. So ultimately, when she gets out and says, "How come nobody never told me?" that's a problem. You don't want your child or your grandchild out here saying, "How come nobody told me?" At least, even if they make bad choices, you want them to say, "Yeah, they warned me about this." Right? So like with my kids, I got one biological child, but I got a bunch of adopted kids, and some of them make bad decisions, and they can't. Not one of them can ever say, "Dad didn't tell me," because I'll be like, I'll be sitting there and I'll be giving them a look, and I don't even say nothing. They know, and because they know what I'm thinking. They know I'm thinking. See, I warned you about that, didn't I? We talked about that when you were 12, right? And and so at least I can say I told them, right? So, what's the next thing you can notice from this video? Notice this. Notice that every here, let me just play it again so we can point to the next thing. Because some of y'all just came in. I want for those who just came in, I want you to see the video. All right. All right, so here we go. Let me pull this up. Wait, there we go. Okay. So here is the video again. Let's watch it again because we're being analytical today. We're going to be some financial scientists today. We're going to break it down. All right, here we go. Watch it one more time, and then I'm going to point out the second thing I noticed. Here we go.
Bro, how come nobody never told me that being an adult is hard? Bro, my phone bill was $300. And on top of that, I had to pay to get my own hair done. Bro, this is hard. I can't do it anymore, bro. I don't want to be an adult. I want to go back to being a kid, bro. I have to still find another job after losing my job at Popeyes. And I still got a phone bill to pay. I can't do this.
Okay, so another thing here, and then just so you know, this is how I analyze things. This is what I picked this up when I was doing my master's in math, is that never ever try to analyze something by looking at it once. Look at it again and again and again, and then go back, rest, let your brain sleep. Your subconscious mind will pick up things, and then look at it again with a fresh eye, and you're gonna always see stuff that you like. I've been teaching certain classes for like literally 20 or 30 years. And I love reteaching the same class because every time I teach it, I learn something new. Like every time I teach stock options, I see something different from what I saw before because it's like looking at a house. If you really don't understand a house, you don't just look at it once and at a picture and then say, I know everything about this house. You look at you look at the house from the inside, you look at it from the outside, you look at the basement, you look at the plumbing, you look at the blueprint, you look at it from an aerial view, right? You go back and just walk around it again. You see what I mean? So ultimately, that's why I like to look at things over and over again because you'd be amazed how much you can understand about life and prepare for life. I truly believe that life is a battlefield. Life is also a university, and also economic warfare is a real thing. There are so many people that have traps designed to contain you and to control you. And if you don't understand this and process these things, then you're going to walk right into some of these traps. So one thing I noticed about this was, did you notice that every single one of the problems that she had was a financial problem? I mean, this girl sounds like, I mean, really, if you talk about somebody that might off herself, like somebody might need to watch her and do an intervention and make sure she's okay. Because she's saying, I can't do it anymore. When people start talking like that, I get a little nervous. I can't do this anymore. What does that mean? Right? And make no mistake about it, there are people who take their own lives because of financial problems. This is one of the reasons why I warn you all about things like gambling. They mass promote gambling. Club Shay Shay was promoting gambling. They got all these black men doing these damn ads promoting gambling, mostly to men between say 20 and 35 years old. And Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, Shaquille O'Neal, and they don't understand how many people take their own lives because gambling puts them in such a financial hole and they're ashamed and they've ruined their family situation and they don't know how to get out of the hole. So a lot of them just say, well, I'm either going to do something that might cost me my life or I might just take my life. That happens all the time. So, so that I'm concerned. So here's the thing. Notice though, as she's talking, as she's sort of giving this talk that makes me worry. She's mentioning her problems. And if you take an inventory of every problem she mentioned, every single thing that she said in that video was a financial problem. She didn't mention like one relationship problem. She didn't say I'm struggling with school. She didn't say it's hard to make friends. She didn't say my ankle hurts. She said, I got a phone bill. I got a phone bill to pay. I had to pay for my own hair. I got to get another job because I lost my job at Popeyes. And then I got another bill to pay. That's what she said. Every single one of those problems was a financial problem. And tell me if you agree with me. This is where I start asking simple questions to get simple answers so we can make sure we're in alignment. Do you agree with me that most people that most people relate to that video? That a lot of young people, especially, relate to that video. That there are millions of young people just like her, and older people too. People in their 40s and 50s stress out like that, right? Like that's very relatable. So what this says is in the middle of all this, civil rights hoopla and everybody vote for the Democrats or the Republican nonsense and Black Lives Matter and everything else that we're talking about, the biggest stressor for Black people seems to be financially related. Or at the very least, if we solve the economic problem, the financial literacy problem, we'll solve a lot of other problems at the same time. If we solve the preparation problem, oh, we're probably going to have a very good chance of living a good life. And I know some of y'all in here. I saw Kendall Green and his wife, and I know how well their family's doing. I have so much respect for you. And I see AC Salam and some others in here. And I know that you're doing better financially because you're making the right choices. And I know that your lives are not sort of this big bowl of misery that everyone thinks that you're supposed to have because you're Black, right? So most of her problems were financial problems. The next thing I would mention as well is she talks about her job at Popeyes and having to get another job at Popeyes. Um, and I think that what that speaks to is the false idea that you have to have a job. The reason she has to have a job is because not only did no one tell her what to expect, also no one ever prepared her financially to survive without having to get a job. So getting a job is in many cases the one and only available response to what would be described as extreme economic desperation. So, because you're broke and because you can't pay bills on your own, you have to get a job because that's the only way you can survive. And I'm not judging, I'm not job shaming, I don't do that. But the reason that I'm so adamant about the 5-year pledge where you invest the same amount of money you give to the car dealer or pick some bill and you match it by buying that much in stock every month is because if someone has simply taken the $500 a month, which is the average car note in America, and said, for this baby, we're going to get this baby ready for the future. If they put that $5 or $500 a month into an S&P 500 index fund, after 10 years, this poor baby would have had almost $100,000. Now, let me ask y'all this question. If a child has $100,000 in the bank, do they have to go work at Popeyes? Yes or no? Let me ask you this. If she'd had $100,000 in the bank, would she be on the internet crying about her life and talking like she might, you know, stick a fork in the electrical socket? Poor baby. Yes or no? Great. So here's what I want you to pick up on. Tell me if you're hearing me. Sometimes the most complicated problems have the simplest solutions. Because you can't tell me that there wasn't somebody in her house paying bills the whole time. So process this. While she's being neglected, her financial future is being neglected, they were taking very good care of the car dealer because he was getting his 500 a month. While the baby's future is being ignored, the cell phone company, they was getting a 150 a month or whatever, right? While we're forgetting that this poor child's going to be struggling, oh, they took good care of the landlord. The landlord's kids ain't on the internet crying. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Are you getting what I'm saying? I have to. I really want us to sit in this for a minute. And it's probably it might freak some people out because they're like, wait, it can't be that simple. Yes, it can. Gotta be hard. It's only hard because you listen to people who want you to believe that it is hard. It only becomes complicated when people gaslight the shit out of you and make you think that the black wealth problem is some unsolvable problem that we can. No, it's only hard because they tell you to solve it in the wrong way. It's like mathematics. It's like if I say, tell me what 2 plus 2 is. What's 2 plus 2? Somebody tell me what 2 plus 2 is. Put it in the chat. I forget. I just can't remember. I'm getting older. It's 4. Oh, that's right. It's 4. Okay. So what if I said, I want you to solve 2 plus 2, and I want you to give me the answer, but I want you to give me the answer without talking, typing, and I want you to do it from, I want you to do it to send me the answer in an envelope while you're riding in the Goodyear blimp on a Tuesday during a rainstorm, and holding one leg in the air and drinking a beer. Right? If I said that, if I say no, I'm sorry, Gloria, you put it in the chat, you put four in the chat, that's wrong. You got it wrong. You didn't solve the problem, so because you didn't do it the right way. I told you, you have to be in the Goodyear blimp, drinking a beer on a Tuesday while the weather's bad, and you have to mail it, with an envelope, and it has to go through UPS. Right. And then I will accept your answer that 2 plus 2 is 4, but I will only believe you if it comes in a certain package, if it's done a certain way. That's the problem. The problem is they complicate your path to liberation. That's what they do. And I don't know why the hell they do it. I think it's because they love, think about this. You can build a whole industry around solving simple problems in the wrong way. That's what they do. This is welcome to capitalism. There's a whole industry built around black oppression. There's a whole stack of people that make millions of dollars by keeping black people perpetually confused and sad and lost and depressed and angry. There's a whole $1 trillion industry around emotional manipulation of black people. And I ain't here for none of that shit. It's stupid. It's wrong. My bias as a financial scholar came from people like there was a guy named Eugene Fama at the University of Chicago. University of Chicago is kind of like the Vatican of finance. Whenever they would put out a theory or write a research paper, we didn't dare challenge University of Chicago because they were like the economic gangsters of academia. They were like Rock Nation used to be or something. Like when they walked in the building, it's like with the Snoop Dogg video with Dr. Dre and everything's in slow motion and they blowing smoke like Snoop did, and you just know, like those are the guys, right? The Tupac and the Dr. Dre. That's what they were in finance. Well, Eugene Fama was like the boss of the boss's boss, right? He's the Tupac of finance. And one thing I loved about Eugene Fama when I would read his research papers, there was got it. And the thing I liked about this guy was I never met him, but, but I liked the fact that he would solve the most complicated problems in the simplest way. He would write a paper that was so simple you could explain it to a 5-year-old, but it would be some amazing idea that was really effective that actually worked, and it would just be super simple. And I believe and that became like my favorite type of paper to read. Like, okay, so you didn't use some complicated mathematical procedure. You didn't go through some sort of brute force methodology that required a supercomputer. You just literally said no, 2 plus 2 is 4, and here's why it's equal to 4. And I think that for black people, I think we got to go back to the basics. And again with Fama, he was great, and everybody on my dissertation, every single one of my dissertation committee members went to the University of Chicago. I didn't get in. I applied. I didn't get in. But anyway, all of my committee members went to Chicago, and so this is the way I think about things. My goal is not to say, "Oh, I've got this PhD. I'm going to impress you by making everything super complex and showing you how smart I am." I don't really feel the need to do that. My goal is to say, how do we simplify this? Because if I can't simplify it to you in a way that you can explain it to your 5-year-old, then you know what that means? That means I really don't understand it. So I want us to aim for simplicity. And I'm going to tell you, you've already got that in your community. Your grandma, who was born during the Great Depression, has that mastered. She'll say, don't go having babies with a broke ass man. Uh, your granddaddy will say, if you don't work hard, then you won't be successful. Um, your parents might tell you, if you want to be, or save your money so your money can save you. These basic ideas. What TLC said, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Like these simple statements are very powerful and very effective, and they will solve a lot of your problems. So I would ask you to figure out, like, what are my simple rules of life that are going to allow me to have whatever I want in this world? To hell with the politicians who are making things unnecessarily complicated. To hell with, the fake financial analysts who tell you that you got to do these complex investing strategies and go put $20,000 into a day trading course in order to be financially free. To hell with the people that are telling you that that everything will be great as soon as you vote for this person or that person or what. No, it should be simple. I think it should be simple. Like I have simple rules. My simple rules are like um, exercise every day and lift weights, and that'll keep me healthy as I get older. You should save your money and be conservative with it because you never know when things are going to go wrong. Be nice to people because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know if you're ever going to need them. Work your ass off because if you work hard, then eventually the world would never give you what you want. The world will rarely give you what you want. The world gives you what you deserve. It gives you what you earn. And little things like that, right? So what are your simple rules? Find your simple rules, and those simple rules will get you to wherever you want to get to. Now, let's speak specifically in terms of this young lady and exactly how to make sure your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephews don't end up on the internet crying because they can't pay bills. Um, First off, you guys know we have financial flashcards and workbooks for kids. If you go to financialworkbooks.com, you can take a look at the workbooks if you want curriculum that you can use in your household. Financialworkbooks.com or financialflashcards.com. Those are very popular, and a lot of you seem to like those. And I think those are great tools for your kids. If you want them to go through the material, just do something really basic. Just say, I'll give you $1 for every financial term that you memorize. Or if you go through these cards, I'll give you $20 when you're done. Or whatever it is, right? And I see Mia says, I love the workbooks and flashcards. Good. Thank you for saying that. Um, if you like digital stuff, if you go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, there are programs on real estate, crypto, stock market investing, etc. So if you really want your child to know these things, we kind of make it into economic baby food. So a lot of that's there. So it's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Feel free to do that. You can also text the word youth to the phone number 87948. I'll send you information. So text youth to 87948. We have plenty of stuff. I'll send it all out to you. You can take a look at that. Another thing you can do is you can teach your child the same way that I teach you. I don't teach you with a curriculum and exams and a bunch of complex stuff. We just talk. We just get together and we talk. And literally every time I talk, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I didn't know. I knew I was going to talk about this video, but I thought I'd talk about some other stuff. But I was just so intrigued with this woman's experience that I just said, well, let's just talk about this the whole time because I think this is really deep. I think about how unhappy so many of our people end up becoming, how stressed out they are, and just in the misery that doesn't just come from that. It's things like broken relationships and trauma and abuse and beating each other up in the street and just crazy stuff that doesn't represent the best of who we are. And what you'll find when you dig through it is a lot of these situations are connected on some level to financial security. Or, and people that are doing well, that have something to lose, they're not usually the ones out in the streets beating each other up and doing crazy stuff. So really with this young lady, she's presenting a problem that is going to be difficult to solve now, right? Like because she has all these bills and maybe she doesn't have the skill to go out and make money, things like that. But they're very easily solvable if you plan ahead. Another thing that someone could have done for her is just teach her how to go make $1. Right? I believe every black child should know every black child should know how to be an entrepreneur by the age of 12. Every black child should know how to start a business by the age of 12. So if she's sitting there and she's like, bro, it's hard, bro. I don't have any money, bro. Well, if she has an entrepreneurial brain, because I'm sure she learned other things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we got kids that learn how to rap. They learn how to twerk. They learn how to play football. It's easier to learn how to start a business than it is to learn how to play football. To be on a football team, because football teams require hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of work and preparation. Playing football requires a tremendous amount of courage to go out there and get your head knocked off, possibly. Playing football requires a ton of discipline because you're out there doing those those 2-a-day practices in 100-degree heat. Playing football is hard. I was talking to a guy about that the other day. I can't remember who it was. I think I was talking to Ezekiel Elliott's father. Ezekiel Elliott was a star for the Dallas Cowboys in Ohio State. And when he came to the All Black National Convention, we were talking about that. And I said, it is so hard to be a great athlete like your son was. And he said, yeah, my son, we never had any intention on my son being an athlete. I remember his father is a member of the Nation of Islam, and they don't play when it comes to intelligence and preparation. That's why I love the nation. And he said that, we didn't even know he was going to be that great. We were planning on him doing other things with his life. But it turns out that he happened to be arguably the greatest running back in the history of Ohio State football, which is known for producing great running backs. I mean, Ohio State won the national championship this year by a long shot, blew everyone away, and he's arguably the greatest running back in the history of Ohio State. But still, even in that family where they were blessed with all this athletic talent, I had so much respect and appreciation for the fact that he literally was like, he said, man, I wasn't trying to have my kids just thinking that sports was their only option. So in my view, it's important that we make that connection, because what happens with our little boys is we got millions of these boys that have so much talent, so much ability, and there's all these systems that are designed and wired to extract wealth from your family and from these boys. They got the little Pee Wee League football programs that are feeders into the NFL, and basketball, same thing, feeders into the NBA. And I would say to what that we have to have systems ourselves, right? What are our systems in place that where we can feed children into the Black economy in a positive way, feed them into their families, feed them into success. And this is important because you process this. What a man becomes, what a man can do at the age of 30 is determined by the trajectory he was put on at the age of 8. Do you understand? When you see a man at 27 years old who has no skill to make money because he's heavily dependent on white folks to take care of him, the question to ask, in my view, would be, well, what happened in your life for the last 27 years where no one prepared you to compete in this economic system? And who lied to you? Like, who really told you that if you're black and you do what you're told, that white people are going to love you as much as they love themselves? That was a lie straight from the depths of hell, because every single statistic shows that black people are less likely to be hired by white businesses. They're more likely to be fired by white businesses. They're less likely to get raises and promotions by white businesses. And I get it. I know where you got the lie from. You probably got the lie maybe from some of the civil rights superstars, the boule, who make their money by convincing black people that racism is a thing of the past. Or they make their money by convincing black people that if we could simply convince white people to do the right thing, then we can get everything that we need and they'll take good care of us and start treating us fairly. And I think that that is a damn lie. There's no evidence to support that at all. I hope that you can forgive me if I sound like an extreme black man when I say you're going to have to do this your damn self. We have to solve this problem. And it's important for us to practice the idea of knowing that if we don't do it, nothing will get done. We must be active. We cannot be passive. We have to get in the habit of action so that we're not just sitting here watching a problem fester and marinate and get worse and worse and worse because we're sitting around waiting for Superman. We're sitting here waiting for a politician. Them suckers ain't coming. We waiting, we waiting on, I don't know what the hell we waiting on, but you look around and you see so many neighborhoods where crazy things are happening. Teenagers aren't safe. They're getting killed. The economics are dead. Families fall apart because the father says women are too expensive. I don't have enough money to support a family. I get it, but it's like, well, why don't you have enough money? Well, because they won't create enough jobs for black people. So what you're basically saying is that you can't be a man because the white man won't let you be a man. That's what you're really saying. That's what you're saying. Because if he made you the man, then you would feel like more of a man. But because he won't make you the man and he marginalizes you, you don't get to be a man. You don't get to head a household. Your children can't look up to you. Your woman can't depend on you. She can't trust you because some other man took away your right to be a man. I would argue that if another man decides whether or not you get to be a man, then you're not really a man. I really believe that. I would say that to really be a man, sometimes you gotta confront the man and cut out the middleman because ain't nobody gonna stop my access to manhood. What do I have to do to circumvent whatever obstacles and barriers you created for me? Because for me to sit around here and say, gosh, I really hope white people choose to do the right thing. We've been waiting 400 years and they haven't done it yet, but maybe they'll do it by Tuesday. That makes us look dumb as a damn box of rocks. And I don't have anything against white people, Asian people, anybody else. I just feel like we're in a competition and we don't even know it. I really don't have anything against anybody else. I spend more time talking to us than I spend talking to them because I don't think that anything they're ever going to choose to do is going to make a difference. It's what we choose to do. So that's why I encourage you to be action oriented. If you want to see something happen, you have to make it happen. If you want your kids to be ready and to do well, you do that. That's your job. Those are your kids. You don't care about their kids, they don't care about yours. So when someone says, well, they don't really care about us, like the Michael Jackson song, or they don't think Black Lives Matter, I'll be like, yeah, they probably don't. They really don't care. They don't care about us. And what was the training that you had that made you think that whether they cared about you really was important? Who even got us into that line of thinking? And I think that in some areas we've been severely misguided. Like I never I'm a Dr. Claude Anderson guy. That's like my father. And I'm gonna call him today actually. And what I love about Dr. Anderson is he even talks about the civil rights movement. He said things that made sense to me. He said it didn't make no damn sense to let somebody bash your head in just so you can get the opportunity to support their business. That's a mental illness, people. I'm sorry. That's a mental illness. But sometimes when we see the world doing crazy stuff, we think it's normal because everybody's doing it. And I think it does take some courage from us to question that and to say, I know what you were trying to do, but that was wrong. That was wrong. Right? And so when you're looking in the history, actually, let me show you guys a clip from the convention that might reflect. Maybe Boyce from the past can say this better than Boyce from the present. I'm going to share this clip. I was speaking at the convention and I said this, and I think it's on my Instagram. So let me pull this up. And by the way, Chanel's sharing the link. If you want to join the next cohort of our stock options class, it's called Coin, the Certified Options Investing Network. She's got a link. She'll put it in the chat. So feel free to click on that link, and it'll get you in at I think 60% off. So, and that expires today. So feel free to take a look at that. All right. So let me share this with you. And this really, the president of Tuskegee, I think his name is Dr. Mark Brown. He was at the convention as well. And I have a lot of, as you know, I have a lot of admiration and respect for Tuskegee. And so, I was thinking about Booker T. Washington and Marcus Garvey and the people that they don't really teach you about in school. That I really think we as a community should study in addition to whoever else we study. So here's the little clip. It's very, very short. Here it goes.
You study Black history, you realize Booker T was right all along. That's the message you should have picked up. Marcus Garvey was putting down something that we should all be picking up. There's a reason why your children don't learn about these men in public school. Because once we learn these ideas, we become very powerful, very dangerous, and very capable. It's time to stop apologizing for being strong, Black, powerful, and capable. So here's something to lay out. Very simple set of ideas. Number one, every Black child should know how to start a business by the age of 12. Just in case the company decides to cut their DEI program. Every newborn baby should own shares of stock at birth. And if you buy stock for that child consistently, by the time they are 25 years old, they don't have to work for anybody, because we know that the microaggressions you deal with on the job every day is the number one cause of stress, mental illness, and health, and all kinds of other problems, things that kill us early. We're done with that. We're not passing that generational curse on to the kids. Can we agree on that?
Okay, so that particular clip, I wanted to share that because um, I really think that we should really study some of the ideas of Booker T in more detail. In fact, I'm going to find some stuff that he wrote and I'll bring it to class and we can kind of analyze it. I think he had the right ideas. If you really study his life, this was a very hardworking man. I think he walked 500 miles just to enroll in Hampton. There's, things like that, which I think is amazing. But then the idea of developing institutions that belong to us. I mean, imagine if we had a million kids who came into the world trained on the idea of institutional development. Everybody says, I'm going to create a business. I'm going to create some structure. I want to develop some. I have structure in my family. I have structure with my church. I'm going to have structure with something educational. Then you'll really see a building spree in the Black community. You'll just see all these amazing entities come into existence because you have people that are trained not just on business management, but they're trained on business development. Those are two different things. And right now, what you have is you have an industry of millions of our young people that are being trained to go work for white folks, right? Because you ask them like what their majors are. Most of them have majors that are aligned with looking for a job. So what happens when that occurs is you're pushing all your wealth and your potential into someone else's hands. That's what you're doing because the job is going to cap how much money they can make. And any premium that comes from that activity is going to go to the business owner. That's how capitalism works. So we've got to really, really revamp everything. I'm a big Garvey guy. I'm a big Booker T guy. I'm a little bit of a Du Bois guy. I think that we need our scholars, but Du Bois couldn't create a job. Du Bois only knew how to look for a job, from what I have seen. Right? No disrespect to him. And everybody's flawed, right? Everybody's going to have some things that you agree with and disagree with. And so it might be a matter of picking and choosing pieces of everybody's ideology and really saying, how do we solve this problem right now? I hope that that makes sense. And then that other piece about the simple rules, making sure every Black child knows how to start a business by the age of 12. If every child gets stock from the time they're born, you do the 5-year pledge, and let's say you stretch that out to 30 years. 30 years, they're almost at $1 million. I mean, really, it's so straightforward. It's literally in less than a generation, we change everything by simply doing what we're already doing. And in fact, actually, if you want to sign up for the 5-year pledge, we did set up a landing page where we can guide you and give you investing tips on that. So the URL is 5yearpledge.com. So you can go to 5yearpledge.com and sign up. And each year I'm going to track, I'm going to ask you, how you feel about it, how it's going for you. And all I'm asking you to do is pick an amount, invest that amount consistently in the stock market, in the particularly the S&P 500. Don't go buying crazy stuff. S&P 500 stocks. You can SPY or VOO. Those are two ticker symbols you can aim for to start with. So don't overthink it. SPY, VOO, $500 a month, just like your car note. If paying for the car matters to you, then paying for your future should matter to you too. And be consistent. Don't sell your assets. Rich people they're not quick to sell stuff. Rich people sell things if they have to. So start acting like rich people and then you'll become one. And after 10 years, it's roughly 90 to $100,000. After 20 years, it's about 350,000. After 30 years, it becomes $1 million. If you want to speed it up, then double it. Go to 1,000. Some of you have enough money that you can afford to invest 1,000 a month. If you're really wealthy, do 2,000. If you do 2,000 a month, then after 10 years, you're talking about what, $400,000 that you have, somewhere close to that, 354, something like that. After 20 years, you're at 1.2, 1.3 million. After 30 years, you're at $3 or $4 million. So by being consistent, My goal is to use whatever reach and influence I have. I don't know how much reach I have. I really don't know. I only know when I go to events like the convention. When I go to the All Black National Convention and I see a line of people that want to talk to me, I say, oh, I guess what I was saying, somebody heard it. But I don't know. I spent many years in the very beginning just talking into the wind. I didn't know who was listening. You know, I would go and just have a message, and I wasn't afraid to share it because I have confidence that it's correct, and I would hope someone would listen, right? And but I'll be honest with you. In the very beginning, I had a lot of people that told me I was wasting my time. They said Black people are not interested in wealth. Black people don't want to hear this stuff. You're talking over people's heads, and I just thought that was an insult. And I think that that's what I would call the curse of low expectations. And it's one thing if other people have low expectations of you, that actually that's good for you. It's good for others to have low expectations of you because then they don't see you coming. Then they don't see you as a threat. Then when you show up and you kick them in the ass, they weren't even ready for that. So it's okay if they have low expectations of you. The curse is when you have low expectations of you. Do you understand? When I have low expectations of myself and others around me, then that's the problem because when you have low expectations for you, then everything that you do is going to fail and struggle, and it's not going to be reflective of who you're truly meant to be. So I believe we're meant to be great. I believe we're meant to win, and I don't think that our ability to succeed is in any way managed by what others think we can do. I don't give a damn if they don't. It don't matter to me. It don't matter to me. You know, really, I'm like, man, I don't care if you think I'm smart or not. I know I'm smart, so I don't have to prove anything to you. I don't care if you love me or like me or not. Like, I love myself. We love each other, right? So focusing on the making the main thing, that's what's going to make it happen. So the URL for the 5-year pledge is 5yearpledge.com. So if you would like to be part of the pledge, you're pledging this to yourself, but you sign up at 5yearpledge.com. You'll just get some emails and text messages where I'll send you some stuff that'll help you in your journey, like stock tips, stuff like that. Feel free to go to 5yearpledge.com. So somebody type that in the chat so others can see it. I'd appreciate it. And then also before we head out, just a reminder, we start stock options training again next week. I think September 4th is our next cohort of coin. So Chanel's sharing the link in the chat, and it'll cut the price for you if you want to join us. And you can also have lifetime access and share the membership with your family. So feel free to do that. And for those of you that were curious about the next convention, it's going to be in Brooklyn next year, which is the weekend of October 16th. That's what we're aiming for. We haven't picked our hotel yet, but as soon as we get the hotel, I'll let you know. But right now, we know it's going to be Brooklyn, and we're aiming for that weekend of October 16th. So I hope you'll come, and not just come, but I hope you'll bring family and friends. I also want to mention that my goal is to also give you an opportunity if you want to even bring people and make it into a business for yourself. We actually will set up an affiliate program. So you can then actually offer a discount to your relatives and take a percentage of the revenue that comes in, right? So we're building the Black Business School, and we're building it based on community, and it's not built on the idea that we want just us or just the school to do well. I want everybody to do well. I really want to go into business with you, or like even with my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. A lot of you have set up businesses where you're selling the book, where we're selling it to you for a wholesale discounted price, and then you're reselling the book, and that's totally fine. And I'll autograph those books for you. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, you can look up my book, and you'll find that the price has been slashed quite a lot. And if you want to resell it, as part of your book club or what you're doing in your church or whatever it is, I'm not going to stop you. So doing this together is the goal, and I appreciate all of you for trusting me and working with us on this. And actually, what I'll do is I'll text out the link for the discounted book. I'll put it in the chat too, but I'll also text it out to you. So make sure you're on the text list for this class. If you're not on the text list for this class, you can join by texting the word morning to the number 87948. So just text morning to 87948, and I'll send you everything. All right, so have a good day, everybody. I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you guys have a good day, and God bless you. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.